Thank you. Here's your script with light paraphrasing, keeping the original meaning, style, and length fully intact. The Crusades were a sequence of religious wars initiated by the Latin Catholic Church during the Middle Ages. Most notably, the term refers to 8 significant Christian campaigns aimed at halting Islamic expansion and securing control over sacred sites, particularly Jerusalem, between the years 1095 and 1291. To understand the background, it's important to introduce the Seljuk Turks, nomadic peoples from Central Asia and Russia who embraced Islam. Their empire grew swiftly, managing to unify an otherwise divided Islamic world. Not long after their victory over the Christian Orthodox Byzantine Empire at the Battle of Manzikert in 1071, they overcame the Fatimid Arab dynasty and succeeded in capturing Jerusalem, a city holy to both Muslims and Christians. However, unlike the Fatimids, the Seljuks were less accommodating when it came to Christian pilgrimage rites to Jerusalem. Meanwhile, their continued expansion and settlement in Anatolia prompted the Byzantines to appeal to their fellow Western Christians, specifically the Catholic Church, for support. Although relations between the Eastern Orthodox and Western Catholic branches of Christianity had long been strained, the request arrived at a time when those tensions were slightly easing. Moreover, the Catholic Church under papal leadership was both wealthy and influential. Combined with rising economic prosperity and population growth, Western Europe was well positioned to gather forces for a shared religious cause. These factors influenced Pope Urban II's decision to call for the First Crusade during the Council of Clermont, urging the reconquest of Christian lands. His appeal triggered an overwhelming response from every layer of society in Western Europe. 4 separate armies, formed from different regions, departed for Byzantium in 1096, numbering roughly 100,000 crusaders in total. Over the next 200 years, through a series of 8 major crusades, Christians and Muslims would battle for control in the Middle East. Along their route to Jerusalem, crusaders also carried out widespread anti-Jewish violence, most notoriously the Rhineland massacres. In the First Crusade, the disorganized People's Crusade was quickly defeated by the Seljuks. However, the subsequent Prince's Crusade managed to capture Jerusalem in 1099, following several key battles. The clash at Dorylaeum, the critical and brutal siege of Antioch, and the siege of Jerusalem itself, which had by then been retaken by the Fatimids from the Seljuks. The Crusaders, known collectively as the Franks, broke their promise of safe passage for the Muslim residents of Jerusalem and carried out a massacre instead. They went on to establish 4 Crusader states: Edessa, Antioch, Jerusalem, and Tripoli. Much of the subsequent crusading activity revolved around defending or reclaiming these territories. The Second Crusade was launched in response to the fall of Edessa, though attempts to recapture it from Muslim control ultimately failed. Later, when Saladin, the formidable founder of the Ayyubid dynasty, mounted an extraordinary siege and reclaimed Jerusalem, it set the stage for the Third Crusade. This campaign saw leadership from some of Europe's most powerful monarchs, including Philip II of France, Frederick Barbarossa of Germany, and England's famed Richard the Lionheart. Despite regaining substantial land, they did not manage to retake Jerusalem, eventually agreeing to a truce with Saladin. Crusader efforts to reclaim the Holy City continued through the remaining Crusades, though they were largely unsuccessful. Not every crusade was focused on Jerusalem, however. The Fourth Crusade stemmed from internal Byzantine power struggles and took a dramatic turn when Catholic crusaders attacked Orthodox Byzantium, sacking Constantinople in 1204. The city became part of a short-lived Latin Empire until the Byzantines regained it in 1261. Other crusading efforts occurred elsewhere. The Reconquista in the Iberian Peninsula aimed to expel Muslims from Spain and Portugal, while the Baltic Crusades sought to convert pagan groups in regions like Transylvania to Christianity. Some crusades were not defined by combat. For example, during the Sixth Crusade, Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II managed to peacefully secure control of Jerusalem through negotiation, though the treaty only lasted a decade, after which the Ayyubids reclaimed the city. The Crusades drew enormous numbers of Christian participants from all strata of society, motivated by diverse factors. Religion played a central role. The Catholic Church used intense, often racist propaganda to fuel religious fervor, promising heavenly rewards to those who took up the cause. Religion played a central role. The Catholic Church used intense, often racist propaganda to fuel religious fervor, promising heavenly rewards to those who took up the cause. Many sought fortune through looting, while others joined to accompany their lords. In Europe, a romanticized view of the Crusades emerged through literature, painting them as noble and heroic missions. Muslim forces, in contrast, fought to advance Islam and defend their lands. The final crusade in 1271, led by England's Edward I, ended in failure, as he was forced to return to address issues elsewhere. By this point, morale among crusaders was low, and participation had significantly declined. 2 decades later, the Crusader stronghold of Acre fell to the Mamluks, signaling the collapse of Crusader control in the East and the end of the crusading era. The Crusades had far-reaching effects. They expanded the influence of both Christianity and Islam, opened new trade routes, and sparked interest in exploration, literature, and scholarship. However, they also deepened animosities between Christian and Muslim communities and weakened the Byzantine Empire, contributing to its eventual fall to the Ottomans in 1453. Though centuries have passed, the Crusades left a profound legacy. Their legendary leaders and dramatic events continue to inspire countless films and books to this day. Let me know if you'd like this paraphrased version, formatted for subtitles, narration, or social media captions.